presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, arrives at Calabar Airport. He is welcomed by an indigenous cultural troupe. The campaign train then moves to the UJ Suene Stadium for the rally. Here also, the PDP presidential candidate is entertained. The campaign kicks off with the PDP leaders in the state promising to work for the party's victory while expressing confidence that the presidential candidate, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, will deliver dividends of democracy.
We know that you are a friend to Cross River State, and that indeed in Cross River State, in spite of all these seeming challenges, we remain a PDP state.
Let me tell you that the solution is in your hands. When you vote right, you will discover that in a short 6 months, insecurity will be a thing of the past.
Women and youths are assured of their inclusion in the government that the PDP plans to establish.
Atiku is going to drive hunger away from our land. Atiku is going to educate our children. Atiku is going to educate the youth. Atiku has promised the women and youth 60% in his government.
Many people are preaching division in this country, but we know that an Atiku Abubakar is a man who unites all shades of opinion in Nigeria and ensure that we run an inclusive government.
And I promise you,
optimistic of securing the support of voters in Cross River State, Mr. Abubakar promises them of both economic and infrastructural development.
When I was vice president and the issue of development of Calabar Port came, I gave my complete and total support so that the Calabar Depot can be constructed for the benefit of the people of Cross River State and the South and Nigeria in general. And I promise you, if you vote for PDP, for the president and governorship, we will work together with your governors, your legislators, to make sure that we implement this policy which has been grounded by APC. Since APC came, that project is dead.
The successful completion of the Cross River campaign leaves the River State as the only state in the South-South region that is yet to host PDP presidential campaign. However, with the controversy between Governor Wike and the party's leadership, it remains uncertain if the party will be able to hold its rally in the state. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
All right, yes, indeed. Turning attention now to the People's Democratic Party, we've got Mr. Dimeji Fabiyi here, who is the Deputy Director, Volunteer Management for the PDP's Presidential Campaign Council. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing me.
Well, yeah, you know, the other parties are also striving for the same things. Much as, yes, we've seen your campaigns, which we'll talk to in a moment. But before that, has the impression of the party about other political parties' chances as topping the PDP from winning the elections changed?
Well, thank you very much. If there's anything PDP has done is to be focused on Nigerians, regardless of what other party or other people feels about, or people feel about what other parties are doing. We were not disturbed about that, and we believe that we don't have to take anybody, for granted. We need to go into election and see if, yes, we are going into an election with members of oppositions. We have so many opposition parties that have fielded presidential candidates. So we are taking them as they've come. So for us, we are going into an election, and we are doing everything that is required to go into an election, and most importantly, to winning.
Members of the opposition, you are in the opposition, aren't you?
We are running, so we see every other person as our opponent. In this context.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
In that context,
in terms
of how you use the word.
Yes.
Because it is the leading party or the ruling party that usually uses the word opposition.
They are opponents in this election.
I just want to clarify if you're running as a party already in government.
No. They are opponents. Yes, they are opponents.
Okay, so what exactly is the lead thrust? One of the things I have heard your presidential candidate emphasize is unity, and I think our last guest, Mr. Dele Farotimi, made reference to how the presidential candidate of the Labour Party intends to, draw everyone together after the elections. Your presidential candidate has acknowledged that, we're not exactly living up to that motto on our coat of arms, unity and faith, peace and progress. And unity is one of the things that he's big on. How does your presidential candidate intend to bring about unity or to make it stronger after the elections?
Well, thank you very much. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar is one man that really understands this country. You cannot take it away from that. Far and beyond any other person running for presidency today. And I can defend this clearly. He has been there as a vice president at that level, so he understood I was there. He understood the dynamics and the diversity of this country.
But do you have to be vice president to understand that?
Do I do what?
Does a person have to be a vice president or a former vice president to understand?
If you are not there, you may not really understand how deep the dynamics and diversity of this country are. And for you to be there, even being a governor in the state, you need to understand the things that play out. So let me just quickly address what Mark said. So for him, he has said about 2 to 3 things that would help him in bringing Nigeria back. Number one is restructuring. One of the biggest challenges we have in this country is the lopsided structure in this country. And he said, when I come in, I'm actually going to address that frontally with the help of the National Assembly. And that's why when I look at other candidates talking about restructuring, I ask them, how do you want to do it? One, even when you have a situation, when you have the total control of the National Assembly, it's still difficult for you to get some things through. But Atiku has the capacity to do that. Through the restructuring, it's going to bring about unity that this country really needs. And number two is, when it was Vice President or President Obasanjo, the government at that time did something, because we came in from military rule, and there were lots of division in the country. What the government did then was to bring about what they call national government. And it doused the tension completely in the country at that time. I was in government, so I understood all of this. So that it's not going to be only PDP people that will be in government. We're going to bring in people that we know that have the capacity to help this country heal, to help this country come together into government, into governance. The moment he does that, everything will be okay.
And they end up joining your party?
They don't have to, because people that came from the AD, the ANPP, not all of them joined, but those who are highly principled, those who believe that this is about this country, they contributed their own quota and they left. So it's clear. Atiku is very clear about what he wants, and the party has the support of the party in this. And Nigerians are beginning to see that. I think it's only this man that really has what it takes to bring this country.
If you could explore that a little further.
Yes.
Is it going to stop at that, or will there be something to, in a manner of speaking, institutionalize that so that we don't have a zero-sum nature of our politics, where a winner takes all?
Of course. That's why he said he will be working closely with the National Assembly members, because most of these things will have to be backed by the law, and the constitution must be tampered with a little bit so that you institutionalize it, then nobody comes tomorrow and run. And if there's anything Atiku is coming to do, is to ensure that our institutions are in good stead, our institutions are in place. This is because these first 4 years is going to be so intense that even if you are in that government, you have to work hard to be able to meet his target. We believe we are going to do that for Nigerians. Nigerians they're waiting for us actually for this.
So what is different about this campaign? Because he's been there in campaign before 2015, 2019, and of course he also believed he was going to win. Now he also believes he's going to win. So what is different about that belief now and then?
See, a lot of things are we all know where Nigeria is now. No thanks to the APC leadership, APC government. Nigerians are looking for something different. And Nigeria are waiting for that person that really have the strength, the tenacity.
But all these other candidates say they are also bringing something different.
I am telling you about what my candidate can do, and the stories are out there. Nigerians know. You know, it goes beyond being a former governor or being a governor somewhere. No, it goes beyond that. Nigeria is a serious business than that. So when somebody comes out and says, because I've been a governor, and that gives me the, you know, it doesn't work that way. No one, you must be able to identify people that can actually make you achieve your goals, and which article is known, is tested and known for.
But can the APC candidate also lay claim to that? Because if he's governed the state that has about 30% of the country's resources of states put together,
Chamberlain,
the resources.
Why do you want us to go into this? I don't want to.
No. We're looking at,
because it's
if it's the same narrative, the narrative exists in other parties too. So we're trying to find out what is different.
No. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of difference. You know, because you govern a state. Okay, and we saw what has become the state that you claim you govern. During your time, I told you, I said, go and verify. During the time of Asiwaju as a Lagos State governor, he only did 2 roads in Lagos. Lawantin Road and Ikoto Igodo, this Governor's Road. Go and check it. It's on national. I'm saying, go and check it. He built 2 schools. 2 millennium schools at the cost of 5 billion. Go and check it. This is on national television.
So what about Lekki?
Who did Lekki? One thing is for you to conceive the idea, and another thing for someone to come and he didn't do it. So I don't want to go into this. I wish Asiwaju well. You know what I'm telling you, because this is the focus of our campaign, is we are taking our messages to the people, and that is what you see Atiku and PDP doing. And that's what we are going to do. And Nigerians are listening to us. They want to hear us talk, and we're talking to them.
Let me take you up first on the issue of restructuring, which you have raised. You said that only your candidate, you know, because he understands this country, you know, will be able to pull off restructuring even through the National Assembly. What item, because everybody bandies this word restructuring, and after elections we're told that, oh, restructuring has 1,000 meanings. If you talk to 1,000 people, you get 1,000 definitions. What precisely in restructuring is your candidate looking at?
Well, thank you very much. Number one, for you to know how serious this is about, this is article, you know, this is taking this restructuring thing. He had written a book that had been circulated across the country, even to media houses, for anybody to go through and read and understand what he was talking about restructuring.
I don't know that our media house got it, but
so it was.
But for the benefit of those
who
might not be able to read.
Yes, okay, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. The first thing he needs to do is to tamper with the constitution of this country, which is to move some items from what do we call them?
From the concurrent or from the exclusive list?
Yes, because we need to devolve powers to the states.
Items such as?
The moment you do that, okay, for Atiku, it's about creating a lean government. Federal government has no business in certain things. So Atiku said, my own restructuring will limit federal government to things like defense, internal, you know, affairs management, the financial regulation, and about 3 or 4, every other thing should go to state. But federal government has no business in agriculture. It should be to the state. Federal government, even education, is just to run the policy and let the state run. These are some of the things that Atiku wants to do.
That sounds like a lot more.
Then even security.
Just a moment. It sounds like a lot more responsibility. Where are the states going to get the funds for it?
That's exactly what we're saying. Now, you're going to control there are resources from the states. States, they don't have to labor, they have to work hard because you have resources in the state. You tap your resources, whatever you make out of it. That is why the constitution is going to be tampered with, so that whatever you make, what do you call it, a donation to the center government. It's possible. This is what Atiku wants to do. We need a lean federal government. We need the state to grow at their own pace. Control your resources. Make remittances, certain percentages to the central. You will see that the tension will be less. There won't be any problem. Everybody will be okay. This is what Atiku is talking about.
Some people say,
and Nigerians are keen into this. Let me tell you something more, because people want something new. it goes beyond the normal rhetorics. Okay, look at these policy choices. All these things have to be taken care of in the Constitution. And that is why we need a president like an Atiku who have the buy-in, the support of the National Assembly and the control of the National Assembly to be able to get this. You can't tell me, INEC just came up with the list of national, the candidates for national office. I'm talking of now the presidency, the Senate, and federal house. Go and check it. How many of these constituencies do the Labour Party has candidates? Check it. Well, so how do you want to run policy of government? How do you want to run your policy? How do you want to drive your policy?
It's interesting that this Labour Party you mentioned as your key rival.
Not the APC. Everybody's key rival. I just use that as an example. Everybody is key rival. NNPP is a key rival. SDP is a key rival. That is the way PDP is taking it.
Okay, now let's take it. I mean, you have said that states should control their resources. I don't know whether that is being peddled loudly enough, because some people would have said perhaps there needs to be a conversation about that as to whether or not your candidate will be able to pull out. Let me take you up on this issue of poverty. Poverty only recently, I mean, late last year, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released the multidimensional poverty report, and your party, naturally lampooned the APC, the ruling or Progressives Congress, for dragging so many millions of Nigerians, according to your own estimation, into poverty. But if you look at the breakdown of the figures, if you look at how it's, because there was a state-by-state report assessment of the multidimensional poverty, the states of the PDP seem to be the most affected states in this issue of multidimensional poverty, and they fell directly within the purview of the state. Take, for instance, matters like education and health, which was a big component of the measurement of the multidimensional. Sokoto State, Bayelsa State, interestingly, was also, they were like the last two on the listing of states. Those states are majorly PDP states. What exactly is your party selling from the example of its states, from the example of the work that its governors have done, that it is capable of doing more at the federal level?
Well, for number one, it has to do with the man that is coming, on board. Is understanding of the situation. So when you have, at the national level, a president that appreciates the situation, then the problem is half solved. Now, and this is why for an Atiku, it's about how do we move to where we're supposed to be. For him, it's about what do we need to do, to get back on track. So now, the sub-national government has a role to play. So look at just like I didn't even read the report, but hearing from you now, I understood that the report was majorly predicated on education and healthcare. So now, just suppose that with an Atiku who is coming, who's one of his cardinal focus is education, who's one of his another cardinal focus is healthcare. So it tells you what to expect, even in relation with the state. Because when you have a president who is coming and said, these are the things, this is going to be my major area of focus, then it means that the state, whether they like it or not, must keen to, even if you have to make additional law to compel the states, to improve on the record released by MBS, they will have to do it. And that's where, for me, I think an Atiku being an educator, an educationist who is highly interested in education of our children and who believes that education has given him everything to get him to where he is, I think Nigeria will be good for that.
This issue of, over 10 million, I think we're looking at almost 20 million out-of-school children.
Yes.
Is a major issue.
It is.
And I'm wondering, for your party, what precisely does it intend to do differently from what has been done before?
No, of course, Atiku said there's going to be free education at the basics.
But this is the same Atiku who wants to devolve more power to the state.
That's exactly what we're saying. Even if it doesn't mean that if it's devolving more power to the state, they will not do it. That's why I said there will be laws, there will be policies guiding this. It's just not going to be executive order. No. It's not going to be an executive order. It's going to be in our laws because we make it compulsory for you to go to primary and secondary school free. It's compulsory. You have to go. And that's what Atiku has told Nigerians. So when you do this, do you know how many children you're going to get out of the street? Now, the current government tried to bring in what they call it, school feeding program. That is immersed in a lot of controversies and all that. So what has it called? Where has it landed us? Where has it taken us?
Let's look at some of the issues making the rounds today. I think your principal has talked about, I think he was quoted to have said, election riggers are pressurizing the CBN to extend the February 10 deadline for the currency exchange. And considering what Nigerians are going through today, could you explain what that statement means?
Well, my principal wouldn't just talk if he doesn't know that a lot of things are happening. Because how do you explain, Chamberlain, how do you reconcile the 5 governors or 6 or thereabout of the APC government are fighting the president for trying to do what is right for the first time?
What exactly is what is right?
This moving from cashless, from cash, to cashless, it's a good one for us. It's a process. It's something I support. So it beats my imagination that some people are actually fighting that. Yes, the timing may be wrong, like people are saying, because what I believe is a process. And even in the United Kingdom, we saw what we have seen how they're doing it. So,
yeah, but in the United Kingdom, you mentioned they didn't give this short deadline.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what exactly, I'm just telling you that, 1, the timing for me is wrong. Number 2, the deadline is too short. This should have been done maybe a year ago or 6 months ago. So if Atiku made such a statement, perhaps he has information that a lot of people that are talking about it, mainly from the ruling party, ruling government, are the ones fighting it. Yeah, but this is the time Mr. President is trying to do something good for the first time.
But this same policy, we saw it in the 80s. So it's not the first time. This is a new policy.
I was very young in the 80s. Just tell me, how did it go in the 80s? Because I didn't know what happened in the 80s. 80s to this time is about over 30 years. A lot of dynamics have even changed globally, not even here alone. So you need to rise up and meet those new standards.
So because for those who think that he supports the scarcity, because this statement, they may interpret it as though he's saying, whatever is playing out, they are okay with it because, quote unquote, you say 5 governors are pressuring the president.
They're in court. Are they not in court? The APC governors.
I thought all the 36 states attorneys generals have been directed by the states.
Those who came out to fight it to say they were bosses. No, let me tell you what Atiku tried to do on all of this. He's only trying to be a passionate and compassionate that he has always been, because he felt that. Sorry, Chamberlain, I was in Nasarawa State. There is a place in Nasarawa State now that they didn't even know about all of this. And they're still doing the transaction in old currency. Then you now said on the 10th, that was the deadline. So where would they put all those monies they were making? So Atiku was just coming from that point of being a compassionate leader who believes that...
By saying CBN, don't extend the deadline.
No, but he said, the statement he made, he said they should extend.
Yeah, no, he said they shouldn't extend it beyond the February 10 extension. No further extension.
That's at that time, because at that time it was so close, and he said, no, we need to look at...
So should he speak up now, having seen what is going on in the country now?
But you can see that when he speak, that the federal government reacted. That was the first one. Before the 10, before it was changed to 10, there was a grandstanding between the presidency and the CBN.
It's like you're about to change what it is that we read in the papers, because or what it is that we heard, or what it is that we've watched. What your candidate has been quoted as saying is, do not succumb. I mean, that's talking to the CBN now. Do not succumb to blackmail. He thinks that, the CBN governor is about to succumb or is being blackmailed by, governors within the APC. But the reality, which you have also painted, is the fact that people are still not aware of this policy. And you are also aware, just a moment, you are also aware of the fact that a lot of Nigerians are suffering untold hardship as a result of not being able to get access to this money. So for will you say that for political benefits, he's now saying, you know, it is okay? I mean, let the CBN not succumb to blackmail. It seems that he's in support of the policy and the timing. He's not differentiated between either of them.
I think he made that statement, you know, before the 10th of February, isn't it? I think he was clear about what he said. He said, do something because people are suffering. He was very clear about it, and that's what I'm saying. So you just can't grandstand, and people are suffering. That was the whole and short story of what.
So what about now?
Saying.
Should he say something for those who misunderstood what
he said? It would. If he needs to say something, he will speak.
Do you think he should?
Well, he will speak if he needs to speak. If he needs to speak.
You don't think he should?
It's not about me. It's about him. He's going to lead the country.
You're very.
He's going to be the one to lead the country.
Team.
Yes, he's a team, but the team will sit and because the team sat in the first season and said, "Look at it this way."
So you don't have an opinion?
And when he spoke, well, for me, I prefer that we run it as it's going now.
As it is right now.
Yes.
Why is that?
We need to be cashless. Let's just be total cashless.
Even though you've seen, as you say, in Nasarawa, people don't even know what's going on.
They must have gotten to them. Okay. Because CBN sent people there to go and actually attend to them.
He is also quoted to have said that the APC is pressuring INEC to postpone elections and that INEC should not succumb. Where is that coming from? Does he have it on good authority? Or have you heard?
If I'm just hearing that you said this one, I've not heard it.
In the papers.
I didn't read papers.
Several people, news, everybody was quoting that. You didn't see that?
I didn't see that.
You never heard it?
I've not heard it.
You haven't heard anywhere?
I've been busy with so many things. I've not even heard it. You know, you see my role in the campaign.
Doesn't mean you've not been in touch with him.
It's not about not being in touch. It's the role, it's the responsibility I have in the campaigns. That's taking me all over.
Can I ask you quickly, what does your party intend to do about cutting the cost of government, governance and even government? Because some people have blamed the PDP, especially on our return to democracy in 1999, of having been the one to increase the cost of governance and made government look so attractive that everybody wants to get in. For instance, they start with, say, the cost of cars and the type of cars that are used in government. Is it something that your party has given a thought to and intends to do something about? Okay,
Mape, the first is that there was one report called Orasaye report. Atiku was part of this process. I think they set it up, and then that's the first place to start with. Because Atiku also believes that the government is especially the federal government is too big. And that is where the issue of restructuring is going to come. That's number. Number two, this Orasaye report is going to be implemented to the letter because it's important. So there is need for us, for the government, or for the president, Atiku, when he gets there by the grace of God, to look, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to do that to make sure that, because by the time you now bring down most of these baggages and all that, you have a trim government. And cost of governance will automatically reduce.
Well, at the moment, we're looking to see how all of this will play out. But you have said that, wait a minute, is the PDP going to campaign in Rivers State?
No, we're not going to Rivers. We're not going to Rivers. We've made it abundantly clear we're not going to Rivers. Let the river warlord take care of our people there.
It's not about security.
No, it's about security. You can see how people are being attacked on daily basis for campaigning for Atiku in Rivers State. It's a lot of us do not want to talk because we don't want it to look like you are, because whatever you say is going to have an effect on your party. But we have left Rivers State for Governor Wike to manage for the party. He's still a member of the PDP, and we expect that he will deliver Atiku, he will deliver Sim, and he will deliver all the other candidates under PDP.
How do you expect him to deliver? You didn't campaign.
He's a member of PDP. Are you
saying you expect him to rig it?
We're not coming there. I don't know, but he has to deliver. He's a member of PDP. He has to work for PDP.
But you didn't campaign. You want to reap what he didn't sow?
Governor Wike is campaigning all over the places, so he's campaigning.
For the state governorship?
No. PDP has traditional people that they will vote. They will vote for PDP. I think we will win Rivers State in this presidential election. Go and write it down. PDP is
even without
Rivers is the PDP state, and we have our traditional supporters in their millions there. It's not going to change anything. So Governor Wike will do the needful. We believe he will do the needful. He wouldn't allow anything. He wouldn't allow anything untoward to happen in that place. But we have told him that because of insecurity, because they're attacking Atiku people, they're attacking PDP people, and as a governor, as the chief security officer of the state, we have expected that he should move in. Unfortunately, he couldn't contain
him to move in on the security.
He is the chief security officer of the state. He's not the police. It doesn't matter. He speaks to. There are police there. There are soldiers there. So when during the election, don't we have security people working? What I'm saying is that as a chief security officer of the state, he was aware, or rather, is aware that PDP members are being attacked on a daily basis. Macheting them, shooting them, killing them, and as the chief security of the officer of the state, we have expected. It's always in the news. We have expected that PDP, River State, is PDP state, and Mr. Governor was expected to move in and contain it, but unfortunately, I think he was overwhelmed.
Did he not campaign in Borno, in Zamfara?
Who is not campaigning?
The PDP candidates. He campaigned in
those states.
Everywhere.
But
there were PDP members who attacked in that state. He campaigned in Jos. PDP members who attacked in Jos.
It's a different ball game.
What's different about attacks?
It's different. It's a total. It's not the same thing.
What is different? I thought an attack is an attack.
No, it's not. I mean, when was the last time you heard about attacking in Zamfara?
But he had already campaigned there.
Apart from the one that happened between the governor.
The attack happened before he campaigned.
No. It doesn't work that way, Chamberlain. It doesn't work that way. We expect that Mr. Governor Wike will do the needful. We're campaigning in Oyo State. It was a successful campaign. We campaigned in Abia. We are going to Enugu today to campaign. Go and see the massive, campaign that we're going to. We see the campaign rally we're going to have in Enugu today. The governors, all of them are now they're doing their bit to ensure that we have hitch-free rallies in their various states. Okay,
so the party has decided they will not campaign in
because of insecurity. Yes, for insecurity. We can't. You hear what Atiku said? We can't afford any bloodshed. It's God that gives power. Let me tell you something. If Tinubu fails this election, or when Tinubu loses this election, it's not Atiku that made him lose. It's not Peter Obi. It's God.
So what about when
the same way when that's what I'm saying. Is that when a Labour Party man loses, it's not us, it's not PDP that made him lose. It's God that says he's not going to be president. So it's the same thing to Atiku. Nobody can claim that. It's God that gives power. And that's what Atiku has said. All right,
Fabi Oladimeji is the Deputy Director of Volunteer Management of the PDP's Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you for coming on and all the best.
Thank you very much.